Hello everyone, my name is Claudia, you're on the Claude Tricot channel, and this is my English knitting and spinning podcast. I have to get used to saying this little spiel at the beginning of my podcast and not my French one. I wanted to kind of translate it pretty much the same, and it doesn't roll off the tongue the way my French one does, but that's okay. Welcome to my second podcast, which is this one going to be really about knitting and spinning. I always say last week, and it's never last week, it's 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was more of a presentation, hello, introduction, and everything. So today we're actually going to dive into the knitting and spinning I've been doing. I'm going to start from where I am, even though I have a million projects that I've done in the last few years, and maybe I'll show you a few of those every once in a while. Like right now when I'm wearing something that is knitting and spinning. So I'm coming to you from Montreal in Quebec, Canada, and it is a pretty good weather right now. I can see my thermostat that says it's 25 degrees right now, 25 Celsius because I'm in Canada, so it's Celsius. So if you're in the States or where else do they talk in, is there anywhere else that they do temperature in Fahrenheit? I don't know. Yeah, so it's a nice day. It's not super hot, which is great because I can still wear my woolen summer clothes. So this is you've most likely seen this before. It's the Ranunculus, and I made the summer version. I don't know if it's called, it doesn't have it's the short sleeve or the no sleeve version. And the reason I say no sleeve is because basically it's literally just stopped at the separation of the sleeve and the body, and you don't pick up stitches after to do a finished sleeve. You just let it be. You just bind off the sleeves when it's time to separate for the body, and then just keep knitting. I actually really like how kind of it falls this way. Obviously you need to wear something underneath, but then again it's very see-through, so I wouldn't wear it without something underneath anyway. And it doesn't roll that much. It has a little roll, but I blocked it out and I could block it out again. Obviously the fabric that I create, that the yarn I use to create this fabric is very drapey, so it helps to like it helps those little sleeve flutters to kind of not be intense. I did choose to do the close to the neck collar, and I believe, and that's where I'm not 100% sure that I remember, but I believe I did less increases. I stopped the increases at some point in the yoke in order to not have a humongous shirt. So I am usually a size, you know, when I choose my clothing, I go for small or X small. I have a 33 inch bust. So the regular Ranunculus, which is like the X small to medium or whatever it's called, is pretty wide. So I decided to just keep it a little bit smaller. And it's lightly cropped. Like I have some, you know, pants that go above my hip bone, and it falls just at that point. It's very, very nice to wear in a hot day, but not too crazy hot. It's the yarn I use is called Saison from Bleu Poussière. So the Saison is a yarn, I don't know if she's carrying it right now, but if you come across that yarn, it's beautiful. It's 50% alpaca, 25% silk, and 25% linen. So it drapes really beautifully, but it still has the woolly feeling, and it has the shine of the silk. So yeah, I really like it. And I used one skein of that. It's a light fingering. One skein was enough to do a full t-shirt for me. So I would totally recommend that pairing. Absolutely. Any kind of drapey t-shirts or tank top that you want to make, Saison is beautiful. This color is the Dijon colorway. I put all my information, all the links to my Ravelry projects in the description box. Again, I know it's Ravelry, and I know some people don't are not using Ravelry right now, but I don't have another place right now where I store my information. But if you have questions, you can always ask them in the comments, and I'll be super happy to answer if you can't go on Ravelry. So that's that for what I'm wearing. I made it last year. Last year I made 18 adult sweaters. Well, I'm counting the short sleeve and tank tops, so some of them were much less long than others, but 18. And this year I kind of slowed down quite a bit because who needs that many knitted sweaters? So first thing I finished last week, 2 weeks ago, I finished this super cute tank top. So this is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Made Designs. And obviously, like you can tell, I didn't make it into a bralette, I made it into a tank top. So usually like it ends here and then you have an actual, you know, bralette. I had made 2 of these already. Two. And I love them. I use them more like almost like a tank top when it's really hot outside and I'm wearing something high-waisted. I don't wear bras for the sake of wearing bras anymore because I don't have boobs really, so I have very small ones, so I don't care. I don't wear bras, so I wear them as a tank top or something to go underneath something like this, let's say, or I wear them as pajamas. So I knew exactly what size I needed to make, which was the small size. And I use needles that are much smaller though than what the pattern calls for, because I really want a fabric that's not see-through because I'm not wearing it underneath something else. So I think I use size, I keep forgetting which size needles. I think it's 2.75 maybe. Yeah, I think that's right. For the edges anyway. And then anyway, I'll check and I'll write down on the link here. And this is my hand spun. So I had a beautiful braid from created by LCB, and I did this 2-ply. It's a Targi bamboo silk blend, and I stripped the braid into 2 sections, and then one section I split into 2 in order to make color repeats that would be kind of gradual. I'm not 100%, like I'm not a super advanced spinner. I've been spinning since January, so I don't necessarily know what I'm doing, and I was expecting a change of color that was going to be a little bit more gradual, maybe, I don't know. But and what I loved the most was this really bright purple, and there's another purple here that's a little bit more, yeah, it's a little bit more pinky. This one's a little bluey, and then there's a yellow and a green, and then the brown kind of goes in between each color. I was expecting more of those purples, and I think it's all in the ball here, because when I wound it up, I didn't want to start with the other end thinking that I wanted the purple to be more up here towards my face, and it's a bottom up. So I started with the yellow end, and it kind of went on forever before the purple showed up, and then I don't know. So and I used much less than I was expecting. I used like 66 grams of this ball, and I still have 52 grams, I think. So there's tons left. I could make another one. I don't really feel like it. So maybe my plan is going to be to keep this ball for a project where I will use like half skeins and skeins of hand spun that I don't know what to do with. So that's that. I loved wearing it. I've been wearing it a lot. I might have to shorten the straps. When you do this top, that's one thing. Like the first day I wore it, the straps felt a little tight or perfect. And after like 3 days of wearing it, now the straps feel a little loose. But it's fine. So this is a ripple bralette, and it was a lot of fun to make. Oh, and I did have to like be careful when I did the points here to like kind of alternate in between one and the other to not have like a very harsh, like if I were to knit this point here and then do the whole strap and come back here, I would have had like kind of a difference of color here, and those two might have not been the same. So I did the point, and then I did the point right away, and a little bit of strap, and then I cut, leaving a long tail. I did a little bit of strap here, a little bit more, and then cut, leaving a long tail. Then I alternated here, and then did the same. So I went back and forth a little bit, which was a little annoying, but the result is worth the few more ends to weave in. So that's my first and only actually finished project of the last 2 weeks, because I've been knitting on a bunch of things and not finishing anything. I don't know for you, but right now my state of mind is cast on all the things, finish nothing. Sometimes I want to finish everything, sometimes I finish just nothing. Nothing. So what else have I been working on? Yay! I've been working on these that I'm almost done with. And that's my walking knitting. So I am a walking knitter. I do knit while I walk. I have these amazing little bags. No! I had 2 of those. I had another one here that had a little 1 cent floral sweater. I'm gonna have to go check in the car if I lost it in the car. No! You saw it here first. I lost my little pin. So the bag is a Jezabel B bag, and it's a size small, and it fits on my arm, and I love it. Jezabel is an amazing maker. And then I had put pins from Les Garçons on here, the bear that wears the Montrealer, and then, like I said, there was the raton laveur. Anyway, it'll come back to me. That was wearing the 1 cent floral sweater, and it's gone. Okay, and in there I have a half-finished object. It's a little sock for my 7-year-old daughter. She's almost 8. She's got giant foot compared to me. I usually make my my socks with 56 stitches on 2.25 millimeter needles in order to fit my tiny feet. And when I make socks, I usually use 55 to 60 grams of fingering weight yarn, so I have plenty left to make other socks for my daughters. And the skein, this skein, look at those beautiful colors. So this was a self-striping yarn by Les Arts Textiles du Témiscouata. And Christine, who dyes Les Arts Textiles Témiscouata, she made me a special Clos Tricot colorway. So that's the Clos Tricot colorway, and I had left over, and it wasn't a 100-gram ball, it was like an 80-gram self-striping plus a 25-gram, I believe, for the contrasting color. So I had enough to make shorty socks for my daughter. So I cast on 52 for my 7-year-old because her feet are almost as big as mine. And then I'm almost done with this one. And it's just a basic, like, no pattern 2x2 rib straight into an eye of the partridge heel flap to a regular gusset and just a regular wedge toe like this. It's kind of one of my favorite recipes. So that's that. And now when I finish recording, I'm gonna go look for my pin. I'm sad. I went to my mom's yesterday. 2 days ago we left and we stayed at my outside to see my mom because we're still in those times of confinement where we can see people outside. And I took it out and put it in the car a few times, so maybe it fell in the car. Okay. What else? I have another half finished object, which is also a sock. I've been working on my recipe for toe-up socks with a gusset and heel flap. So I made a sock in order to be able to film a series of tutorial in French, but I might do it in English if people are interested. And so I had to kind of test my recipe in order to make another one after on camera. And this is a sock made out of good old Patton's Croix socks. This yarn is a workhorse yarn. It never disappoints. Anyway, not me. It lasts forever. It washes well. It has tons of fun colors that look cool even though it's just self-made. It's more of a sport weight though, so be careful when you do, it says fingering weight or sock yarn, but it's definitely thicker than most hand-dyed sock yarns. So I did my regular 56 stitches with the 2.25 millimeters, and it's definitely too big for me, so I'm gonna give it away. It's fine. I have a million pairs of socks. I'm at that point where I'm fine giving them away. So when I noticed, like trying it on my foot, that it was gonna be too wide, I made it a little bit longer because I have super short feet. So I made it a little bit longer in order to fit like a size 7 shoe instead of a size 5.5 like mine. So there's more chances that it will fit someone. So the colors are Greener Pastures, and Great Marl. So I did the gray marl for the toe and the cuff. I did one cuff. That's that. I'm gonna make another one on video. Then what else have I been working on? Okay. I have this, and I'll show you maybe, yeah, I'll show you what it creates before I show you the thing I'm working on right now. Wait a second. Wedge myself back into my corner. Okay, so last Christmas I bought the Bleu Poussière advent calendar. It was my first advent calendar ever, and it was 25 mini skeins of 25 grams. And my good friend and amazing designer Camille Descoteaux had also bought the Bleu Poussière advent calendar. She had two different advent calendars. She had a light and a dark inspiration, and Camille got the dark and I got the light. And Camille created a pattern for it inspired by the advent calendar, and I said to her, I want to test it. So I tested it, and then she released the beginning of the pattern. So the actual pieces of the pattern is released, and then around Christmas, next Christmas, the 2021, she's gonna release how to kind of sew everything together or knit everything together, crochet anything, I don't know, in order to make a big blanket. So the blanket is comprised of little triangles. How genius is this? You're joking me. It's a mosaic technique, so there's no color work. So what ends up happening is you have a main color, which this one is the pink, and then a background color, which is the blue, and then in the next triangle you use the background color as the main color, which is the blue, and then the other one becomes the background color, the gray, and then I have a gray and this little yellowish pink, and then the yellowish pink plus an actual pink. You can see that the base for that advent calendar was a tweed base, and I was a good girl. I did all my weaving in my ends until here. Now I'm not weaving in my ends anymore. I have this pink and grayish, no, it's beige. It's beige brown. Then I have this brown caramel color with an actual ebony, no, chocolate brown with a white, the white with a green. And now I'm at, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is my 9th, so I just started my 9th triangle, and that's called the stamina blanket, and it's going to be 24 of those triangles. What's amazing is she was able to do the math, or to like think out her triangle. So it weighs, technically, if you have the right gauge, it weighs 19 grams. So with a 20-gram mini, basically you can do 2 squares, with one being the background color and one being the foreground color. So you have very, very minimal leftovers, which is amazing. And then at the end, probably I'm gonna use either the 25th mini or something else, because I don't know if it's gonna be enough of 20 grams to sew it all together and make an hexagon blanket. It's gonna be awesome. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm using the same needles as recommended by the pattern, which is 3.25 millimeter needles. And I love working on that. It was a little confusing, like the first few rows. I was like, oh, what am I doing? And then when I started seeing the pattern come together, it's super easy. And what's super motivating is that you start really wide and then you kind of keep decreasing. So as you go, your triangle is getting, your rows are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Super motivating. So my goal is to keep doing those, so I have like 2 triangles every month, but I haven't been able to do that exactly. My daughter's coming back from school, so I might hear some stuff happening in the background. That's fine. That's my life. That's Clos Tricot. All right, another thing I'm working on is this sweater. I'm on Sleeve Island, and I have 1 sleeve left to go, so I should really just crank on it, and that's what I've been trying to do. Look at this pretty sweater. So it is the Classic by Espace Tricot. Espace Tricot, if you don't know them, it's a boutique in Montreal, a yarn shop, and they make so many patterns, and they're all free. They're free. There's most of the time in English and French, and just I can't believe how many free patterns they have. So this one is the Classic for a reason. Their pictures for the model that they made is black, so it's like perfect. It's a high chimney neck, and then their pattern is very boxy, low in the underarm section, with a split hem with a longer hem in the back than in the front. I went for just a classic, like I didn't do the split hem, I just did a classic hem, because I have one that has a split hem and it's not my favorite, so I just decided to forego that. And then the arms are on the Espace Tricot pattern, just long and no, I have mohair everywhere. There's no decreases, and it's just one size the whole way around. I can't speak right now. Anyway, you know what I mean, it's just straight. But I decided to do a little bit of a balloon sleeve where I decreased. I think I did knit 2 together, knit 2, knit 2 together. No, knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1 on the round before my ribbing, and I decreased more than what the pattern asked for the size of the needle. So normally you go down like 2 size of needle, I think, and I went down 3, something like that. And again, I used the same size needle than the pattern recommends, and I only have a sleeve to go. My yarns are these beautiful yarns from Espace Tricot as well, so they have their house brand, and this is the beautiful Luna base. The Luna base is a 100% BFL, untreated BFL in a 2-ply lace weight, and the mohair, which is called the Halo base, and the color is Sweet Pea for both of them. So Sweet Pea it is, and I'm gonna have a ton of yarn left. So I have all of this left on the lace, and I only have like 3/4 of a sleeves to go. So I'm gonna have tons left over, and also tons of mohair left over. So I did do it a little bit less boxy by having a gauge that was a little bit tighter. I did the neck a tiny bit shorter because it would have been too high for me. I did the body a little bit shorter. So in the end, everything's a little bit shorter. So it's normal that I'm having extra yarn, but I have a lot of extra yarn. I'm gonna find something to do with it. But this is gonna be like a cloud to wear. It's gonna be great for like cooler summer nights, like when I go camping or something. I don't mind wearing mohair in camping, to be honest. I don't. I'll just live with it. I don't care. Some people are like, oh my god, you're beautiful yarn. Yeah, but it's untreated yarn. Like nothing bothers it except if you really like spill coffee or wine over it. But if there's a few like, I don't know, even if it smelled like campfire, you let it air out and a few days later it's fine. So I really am not bothered. I wear my knits a lot. So that's that. And then my last thing, that's a work in progress. Oh, I have money in there. It's in another Jezabel Bay bag. This is the medium size that I use, maybe even more than the small size. The small size is when I go for, you know, a dog walk and I only have a pair of socks and my mask in my purse, and maybe I'll put in my credit card or something. But this is like if I have more than socks, then, and if I want to bring maybe a few other things in my bag, I'll take this one. I really love it. And I have a little pin that was in my advent calendar from Bleu Poussière. And it is a Bleu Poussière and Camille Descoteaux Fest, because my next project is also a yarn by Bleu Poussière and a design by Camille Descoteaux. And it's the beautiful Villain Tee. So this is it. Look at it. It is gorgeous. It is a V-neck short sleeve. I'm gonna make it maybe here, like just this way. And it looks very small, but it's stretchy, as you can tell, because it's like a broken rib type stitch. It's very textured. And what's amazing about this one is that it's gonna be a dress. So my friend Émilie from Les Dompteuses de Fil podcast, which is a French podcast, she had this crazy idea of buying like an entire line of color that Bleu Poussière was updating in their, like putting in their shop. She saw a picture of those yarns just like all lined up, and she went, oh, I need that, all of that. But it was like 7 colors, and she's like, I don't need 7 skeins of fingering weight with yarn. So she wrote to me and she's like, Claudia, do you want to split it with me? And I said yes. So the yarn is Helios by Bleu Poussière, and it is a 50-50 merino silk blend. It is so soft and drapey and amazing and shiny. So the first color up here is called Comédie Divine. It's got some beautiful speckles. And then if you don't know Bleu Poussière, she only dyes with natural dyes. So the colors she can get with natural dyes just amazes me every time. This one is called Fremen Chani. Then it's gonna fade into this one that's called Moomin Falls in Love. It's difficult to see, but there's like yellow speckles and lilac speckles in there. It's gorgeous. And then it's gonna fade into this one, which is more lilac, and it's called, this one is called Gris de Lin. Then it's gonna fade into, whoops, Brume. And then it's gonna fade into Pendulum, and the last one is like I'm holding a baby. Pendulum, and the last one is Chat de Ruelle. And so this is gonna be my full. I had made a little swatch that had the first color that I put in my villain in the middle, because I went with the black and white picture and I checked which one was like the lightest to the darkest, but I wasn't 100% sure about this in the middle here, because it's a color that's very warm in between two colors that are very not warm, cold. So I switched it. I put the warm color up top. I'm very happy with my decision, but look at how they fade together so nicely. The other ones, like these are three colors right here, and then the three grays at the bottom. So yeah, the pattern originally is for a t-shirt, but I'm gonna make it a dress because I have all this yarn and I need myself a beautiful silky dress. So probably what I'm gonna do is when I get to that point, I will follow most likely the ratio for augmentations from the Aros in English, Aros dress by Petite Knit, because I already have the pattern. I made the Aros sweater, and in the sweater pattern they have the calculation for the dress. So I'll probably just take that, copy paste it into this pattern. So I'll be augmenting, I'm guessing, doing two on this side and two on that side. Increases, that's the word I was looking for. I'll increase on each side in order to fit my booty. So yeah, and I'll make it, I'm knitting until I run out of the colors, and I'll see how far I get. If it gets too long, I'll just stop, because I don't want a really long dress. And right now what I'm gonna do is already just cut the yarn and go to the sleeves and finish the sleeves first to make sure I have enough to finish the sleeves, because the sleeves are never gonna go into the next color. They're just gonna stop at this color. So I'll make the small sleeves and come back to the body, finish knitting that color, and fade into the next. So pretty. And her, like, Shani's, like, all of her construction like, it's so thought out. Like it's got a saddle shoulder with, it's beautiful. It's perfect. Okay, so this is what's been taking most of my time. It's so fun to knit, and I want to see the next color come, so I keep on knitting. What else? I'm using the same needle size that Shani recommends, which is 3mm needles in Chiaogu, interchangeable all the time. I kind of always only knit with Chiaogu circular needles, just because I love them. So let's move on to spinning. I won't, well, why not? I'll show you the two latest yarns that I've finished spinning. Why not? This one came from a bat from Artifacts of Appreciation. It is her Subtle Stripes mini bat set that she had for socks, and I couldn't resist. And what I did is I stripped all there was 4 mini bats with different colors, but with like similar dark, like it's gonna be subtle stripes, and I split them in very thin strips, and I spun it very thin in order to do then I spun them like color 8, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and then I messed up a couple times, so sometimes it's gonna be 1 2 3 2 3 1 4 but whatever, it's supposed to be creating stripes, because then I chain plied to make sure that I kept the colors together, hopefully. It's a test. I had never chain plied in my life, and this is my second skein of hand spun for socks. So my first pair of socks, I love them, and they're also from Artifacts of Appreciation. She's got the best bats. They're amazing. So I did this on my wheel, that you can barely see back here in the darkness. Hello, my friend. Oh yeah, here it is. I have a Ashford Traveler double threadle, double dry. So that's that, and that's gonna probably be my next pair of socks. When I'm done with my daughter's socks, I'm gonna cast on this one. Then, why do I always kind of want to place my skeins of handspun in my face? I don't know, but look at that, gorgeous. This is, sorry, mohair in my face. This is a skein I spun up from 75 grams of East Frisian sheep. It comes from a place called Les Brebis du Beau Rivage, the wool itself, around Quebec City, and it was dyed by Les Arts Textiles du Témiscouata, and it was a gift that Christine sent me, and I did a 2-ply. I did it with my drop spindle, this one, and I'm very happy with it. I have no idea what I'm going to make with it. It is quite prickly because East Frisian is that way, because like I've knitted with other East Frisian skeins, it is very prickly and rustic, but it's warm and it's gorgeous. So I don't know if it's a down breed. It feels a little bit like Dorset when you spin it, so I'm guessing yes. So I have 75 grams of this. I haven't calculated how much yardage I have, but it's basically a fingering weight as well. So it might go into a colorwork something, or it might, I had this idea while I was filming my French vlog that I could, because I have so much left over, I could pair it with this in some sort of accessory. So the mohair with that, that'd be super pretty. We'll see. So that, and now I am onto the last braids that I've received are Inglenook fiber braids. They're gorgeous because it's Inglenook fibers. If you don't know Inglenook fibers, they are amazing. They are Greek Orthodox Christian nuns, and they dye yarn and make bats for sale to earn money for their church, basically. I'm guessing for their monastery. I might be saying things that are not 100% right, because I'm not religious, but I love what they do. They're very much about the fiber arts, the earth, the slow living, right? So we all love that. We do. I do. So I received this beautiful braid that I split into little nests like this, and look at those colors. Like, they're super blended. Like, it's not big chunks of colors, it's small little, like, it's basically a speckled fiber, and this is just like a little bit of it. It is Polworth, organic Polworth and silk, and I'm spinning it on my supported spindles. I have 2 full at the moment. Aren't they pretty? They're matching my lipstick. Look at that. Gorgeous. So I spun 2, and I have 2 other supported spindles. Whoops, one here. That is going to be the next one in the rotation. And I also have a Russian from, so these 2 are from the Spanish Peacock. If you don't know them, go check them out. They're amazing. Look at this. Like, are you kidding me? The craftsmanship is amazing. This one is a little bit older and it's a little bit wobbly. It doesn't turn as long at all, but it works fine. I have one that's from Woodland Woodworking, which is also amazing, and it's a teacup spindle. That's the next one that I'm gonna use. And this one is from Lemlen, who's Alexina, and she's local, so I love using local product, and so I've been spinning with those. This is my entire collection of supported spindle. My goal is probably to do a 3-ply. I have a little bit more. Usually I only buy 1 100-gram braid when I'm buying, because I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, so I just buy a little bit. It's like this kind of silly idea that we have that we should just buy one skein of something. What do you do with one skein? You know, but now that I spin, I got into the same habit of buying one braid of things, because I think if I buy too much, it's, you know, I don't know, is it overpowering in my brain and it won't work, or I don't know. But the braids from Inglenook fibers are not always just 4 ounces or 100-gram braids. They're sometimes bigger. So this one was like 7.3 ounces or something like that. So I have quite a bit. So I'm thinking maybe I'll make a 3-ply. That'll create like a DK weight, and then I can do some cool colorwork sweater with it. So that's what I've been working on. That's the only thing that's on my spinning material. My drop spindle is empty, my wheel is empty. So next up, I don't know, maybe I'll spin my other braid on my wheel. Where is it? I'll show it to you next time. I'll show it to you when I'm actually spinning it. Why not? So that's that for me today. You can write to me, you can write in the description, in the comments, what you've been up to, what you've been knitting or spinning, what you look forward to this summer. Do you have some plans for, not traveling probably, but, you know, getting around a little bit, because now we kind of can a bit. I'm really looking forward to being able to cross the border and go see my husband's family. And I'm also really looking forward to seeing more of my family, because even though we all live in Quebec, we haven't been able to see each other because there was zones and we weren't allowed to travel between zones and things like that. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a lonely year, and now I'm looking forward to a not lonely year and being able to see all the people. I'm sorry to be talking about that, because I talked about that last time too, and it's kind of like nobody in a few years is gonna watch nobody in a few years is gonna watch this podcast anyway. What am I saying? Anyway, it's current history, but it's gonna go away, so let's not talk about it too long. If you've stayed until now, thank you so very much for staying. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, just because it takes 3 seconds and it costs you nothing, and it helps immensely, because my livelihood is clos tricot. So you guys being on my channel, just being there, just clicking subscribe, just leaving a little comment, watching the ads, even if it's boring, helps me a lot. And I thank you very much for that. And I hope you come back for the next podcast, which is going to be in 2 weeks on Saturday. And I'm saying happy knitting and happy spinning, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye.